All right. Hello, everybody. And how is it going? I hope I'm live. Am I live? I'm having a day with technology at the moment. My stream apparently doesn't exist on my channel. I don't know why. But yeah. Oh, and now it just pops up. Well, that's good at least. Sorry, guys. Sorry to leave you hanging. I was trying to. Whoa, jeez, out of the gates. Boom, Alexander Engelhardt. Wow. Thank you so very kindly, sir. Merry Christmas to you too. Oh wow. Wow. Man, talk about switch of moods. So I go from trying to make sure that my my stream exists at all into one of the largest super chats. Thank you very kindly, sir. How's everybody doing? I really appreciate that. I'm trying to get your I really appreciate. Oh, here we go. You're gonna get feedback in a sec, but let's see here. All right, we should be good now, I think. Hopefully. Okay, I see you guys. I don't know. Maybe somebody can help me with what's wrong with with my computer here. But apparently, when you fire up StreamYard, it won't allow you to have the same stream, like it's not synced up with my cell phone, so I can't figure out why it wouldn't appear. But apparently we figured it out, and now I've got you guys here, so I've got it. I don't have to rely on StreamYard. But how's everybody doing? Oh, I didn't have a red robe, so I decided blue was probably just as festive. Sure. But you know what's very sweet of everybody is I got about 45, no joke, either text messages, calls, or private messages from folks being like, "Are you okay?" And I appreciate that. I didn't realize that I was, well, at this point now, a half hour late. I really apologize. But I guess we're up and running as good as it will be. So I hope sound and video are looking okay. I'm set up all wirelessly again, which I wasn't for a long time. And my wife has something going in the other room. So hopefully you guys can see me. Hello. So what is going on, everybody? It's good to see everybody in here, and I hope that Christmas is treating everybody well. If you're celebrating, if you're not, then I hope that you are having a great heathen time doing some other thing, or just having a good day. And I mean heathen in the most literal term, just that you are not Christian. And let's see here. All right, so we got questions popping in. But also, today I wanted to talk about any problems y'all have, any problems that are going on, or good things. Let's talk about good things too. And I'm next to a tank right now, and I got a fishy that is a blue lip buffalo cichlid. And you're probably going to be better off. Well, I can do it right now. We can Google what this is going to look like. Hold on. Blue lipped buffalo head cichlid. And what is going on now? Hold on, guys. Everything's all zoomed out crazy now. Don't know what's going on with the formatting on my computer. Oh well, we'll go with what I've got. We'll see how it pops up when I share this. All right, let's see here. So, all right, so there we go. So this is what the fishy looks like. I could probably just, show you my tank, but honestly, she's got a mouthful of babies, and or at least a few babies in her mouth. And I was not even, I mean, shows how dumb I am, I suppose, but I didn't even know that they were mouth brooders. But apparently, that's where she's keeping them for safekeeping. But it's a blue lip buffalo cichlid. And I got those from the wet spot, actually, from one of the guys who works there. I don't want to shout it out. You could figure out who it is pretty easily otherwise. But here we have the actual species. It's really hard to say. Paragobia chilo, irvini, and the blue-lipped part is the part that changes. There's green lip, there's blue lip, there's all sorts of variations that don't have their own Latin name yet, and so they're kind of like an elongated normal buff. Like there's other buffalo head cichlids that look more like this usually. There's also hybrids, but the normal ones are these elongated, or the normal ones are elongated, and then they have different color lips depending on where they're from. But in any case, one of them's got a mouthful of babies right now in my tank, and I was going to try to show you guys by filming it, but I can't get her to show up in front of the camera all day long. I was trying to get her to come out. So hopefully tonight when I feed them later on, they'll come out and I can get a good shot of her, and maybe I'll just make a whole little video of it. But it was really cute to see. She had her mouth open and she was just sitting there about 2 hours ago, and it's like like a zombie, and there's all these little babies coming up, and all of a sudden I come up onto the side of the glass and she's kind of like buried down in her nest, and all the babies just dart right back into her mouth, and she just goes whoop, whoop, and then it goes back into her cave. So I guess I was lucky to see that much. But some people say you strip the babies, so you like pick up the mom and you like massage the side by her gills, and pop, she'll open her mouth and you collect the babies. Other people say you let them take care of their own. This is a very young female. In fact, actually, she's coming up to the glass right now, out of all things. Whoop. But here she is. I don't know. She must be bagging now that I'm sitting here in the room right next to her, staring her in the face. But I'll try to get a video of her because they're pretty cute. All right. Let's see here. So, what has trying to catch up on chat and make sure I can figure out what's going on. So hello, all the folks in here. First off, I just want to say hello to you. Holy cow, there's a lot of you in here. So Merry Christmas, first of all. I was going through, this has nothing to do with fish, so I don't know why it's on the top of my head, but last night we were talking, my wife, and I got to see my parents this Christmas, so that was good. And we were talking, and we thought of, what came up was all the different phrases that Shakespeare is rumored to have, or said to have, I guess would probably be the best way to do it, created. Like the first written account, according to any digitized archive, comes up with Shakespeare. But they have, like, there's a lot of them that have been misattributed. But let's start off the show real quick before I jump in with this too. So the Academy, that is supposedly one that he came up with, like, for being school, like academic and academy. Accused, amazed, impartial, invulnerable, lackluster, laughable, lonely, lustrous, madcap, majestic, to mimic, monumental, moonbeam, and noiseless. Which I don't know. Those are all crazy popular or common words. And it's just interesting because he wrote an iambic pentameter that's like ba 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 ba. You get it, whatever. So there's this pattern to it, and things didn't always fit, so he just made up words. Man, you think I'm at the point in my fish career where I could just start making up words like fishery? I think fishery is a perfectly legit word. Oh, hey, Stephen P. 2003. Also, happy Christmas, spelled the way it should be phonetically. I just got your alert. You sent me a super chat, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, P family. It's good to see you in here, and I hope that you're having a Merry Christmas. Mick M. Good to see you. Stephen Truthseeker, good to see you too. Thomas Hines, Ray Aquatics, Mary Page, Cass, Dragon Lair, Craig, HC Aqua, Sandy, Patrick, Chris. Who else do we have in here right now? Joseph Stanley, Thomas, Adam, Petraman, Justin, Rachel, Gage Roberts, and Misfit Aquatics. Good to see you. Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. Don't want to get that wrong. How's it going? Who else do we have in here today? Fish Tropic, Fishzoid, what's up? Color Guppies, Vinay, hey, what's up? Pete. And we've also got Animal Lover #1, Tiffany, the other Tiffany. Let's see, do we have Melvin Reef? We've got, wow, we got a lot of people in here. Kevin, John Larson, of course, and who else has made an appearance? Cass, I've been talking to. She had a problem earlier today with one of her fish. It had so it has a bent spine, and it's apparently come on out of nowhere, and pretty interesting though. I haven't seen that, like a live bear had that issue where it just comes on super quickly. I've seen it grow into a curved spine, and so I'm kind of curious. I would like to crowdsource it also, because my thought was that if it maybe was stressed, it could be that, or not feeling well, it could be that it has atrophied, and some of those side musculature systems had like contorted or atrophied and bent the fish. So I'm really curious if anybody has seen a bent spine come like overnight, or if it could have ran into the glass and bent itself. And parasite was something that I was thinking of, and then live bear wasting disease was another thing. But I'm just that was a troubleshooting one that I was curious on. The other thing, sometimes spine issues in live bears can be that the TDS isn't high enough, or the calcium. So one thing that made me want to talk about today just quickly was the, let's see here. Tanked Aquatic says a bent spine is almost always the result of either scoliosis or fish tuberculosis, and is untreatable condition that often requires euthanasia of a sick fish. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of issues. This bend in the spine isn't real severe or anything yet. So I don't know if it's at that point, but I do know that there are several rough outcomes for that, but it's not like, you know, it's a subtle little bend. But and then Cass says that she hadn't fed them in 3 to 4 days, just super busy and whatnot, and needed to clean the tank, I think, or was going to, and some probably don't want to add to that before cleaning it. Fish can go a long time without food. So yeah, I mean, it and then someone else says fish spine issues are always almost always genetic. Yeah, I just hadn't heard of them coming on, you know, in a 2 to 3 day period so quickly. And so I was curious if anyone else had noticed that in their fish. Short of, I actually have had like half beaks and things bash their nose, or rainbow fish. Fish that cruise pretty quickly, I've seen hurt themselves to the point of kinking their spine, but I haven't seen it in other critters. So I'm also curious. Yeah, I was curious what else it could be. You know, if they're losing some weight, then you also think that it could be like the live bear's wasting disease, and then that could be causing malnutrition or something like that, which might as well be any number of things that are untreatable that we don't really, that kind of fall into a larger category. But cleaning the water and putting in good quality food, switching it up so they have a little bit of variety of food, and then also just making sure that they're you know, content, not super stressed, water's well aerated, the right temperature, all that kind of stuff. All those things can really help the outcome of those fish when you don't know what exactly is going on. And you know, honestly, that's kind of what I had to go off of with that info. It's a little bit puzzling to me, but yeah, I'm curious into that, what the outcome will be. So thanks for letting me, even though I didn't ask, share that story, Cass, because maybe it'll help someone else. I mean, that's what we're about here. And so let's see here. Oh, you think I need some more fanaticals? What's going on, buddy? You think I need some more racking on the wall behind me? Yeah, I agree. This one, it's like, you know, sandwiched the ceiling. I think we need something fun back here this year. And, you know, something like, I mean, we could do a green screen, but that's not that fun. So I was trying to think of something educational, or a chart of the world maybe, or I don't know. I've had several ideas, but none of them have struck me as like, oh, that's it for sure. So if you guys have any ideas, always good. Wow, that is quite the name. The Swan Villain Civil Rights Tribune. Wow, I like the name is quite epic. Now I'm like gonna have to Google what Swan Villain is, or Swanville, and that's like the plural of it, or like the naming of someone who lives in Swanville is the Swanvillian. Swanvillian? Probably not. Now it's probably some joke or something that I just don't understand. But now I'm very interested. Map sticker board. Yeah, you know, that'd be cool. We could do a map, and we could have a thing. We could do pins of where all of the members or subscribers. I mean, if I did subscribers, it's 25,000 pins. You might not do that, but we could do all the friends and members. You know, like I hate to say just members. I hate the whole pay to play thing. You guys know that. That's why it's $1.99 if you want in on the members stuff. But yeah, I'm just kind of interesting. You know, SC, you said fish porn. Isn't all photography of fish porn? Just gonna throw that out there. I mean, I don't put clothes on my fish usually for live streams. I put little Santa hats on them tonight, So I hope you appreciated that. But let's see. Oh yeah, display. Yeah, they do. Keith, thank you very much. They make really cool stuff, and they also want people to represent their product, like live streamers and creators online and stuff. And I actually have like written down that, oh, that's a cool. I mean, it's a cool service and a good price. And so I was actually thinking about saying like, hey, could I shout you guys out, or could you print out some fish posters for me maybe in exchange for a shout out? Because I had already thought about the same thing. So let's give them a little shout out, even though I don't have anything to show of them. But yeah, just like the word display, but like dinner plate at the end, display. They do have some cool stuff. So I have been thinking about that. That could be something cool to put up on the wall. I mean, with Alexander's giant bomb of a super chat that he does, sky's the limit, right, guys? So completely unrelated to that, anybody looking to buy about 100 opal gouramis? Anyone? Hit me up if so. I was talking to Alexander the other night, and he has got it down pat, sounds like, to raise these opal gouramis, but they have a lot of babies, and you can only sell so many at your doorstep or in your area. So, but if you know a guy who knows a gal who knows a guy, let me know, or Alexander. He's got a bunch of thems, and it sounds like rams too. I'm gonna put you on blast, buddy. That's what you get for helping me. New local Austin, what's going good? Oh yeah, the discus dissection. You enjoyed that? Yeah. So Dr. Anthony Mazeral, he's headed down in a few days. On the 27th of this month, Baby Shark, Baby Shark, we have none other than Lawrence Kent. A lot of you fishy freaks know who that is, but he's a friend of mine, and we go fish collecting. He happens to be part of the GSAS, the sassiest of all clubs, and that is the Greater Seattle Area Society, Aquarium Society. And yeah, he's going to come on, and we're going to chat in his fish room on the 27th, and it's going to be 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, 10:30 a.m. our time here in the Pacific, I believe. But we're going to see his community tanks. We're going to see his fish room, where he's got a bunch of different cichlids right now with babies that I might be picking up a few of. Please. And he's where I got the haplochromis, and actually he's the reason I have the blue lip buffalo cichlids. He brought those back, so he goes collecting all over the world, and he's gone collecting in, for instance, countries that don't technically exist on paper, like the Islamic Republic of Western Sahara, which may or may not exist. Maybe it's part of Morocco. Maybe it's its own country. But there's definitely a bunch of guys with machine guns on Toyota trucks running around that place. So he decided to go for a stroll and go collecting there. Because why not? So hopefully we will get into that also. So we'll see his fish room and all his stuff that he doesn't really show off very often. So I'm honored to get to see that. But also, we should be able to some stories of collecting in war zones and conflict areas. So yeah, son of Quack. Let's see here. Sandy Farrell, hello. Fanatic Owls. Anyone have any experience with neon green rasboras? I do. I've bred them a few times. They are a great fish. Love them. They are prone to shock from shipping. Like, I don't know why, but sometimes they'll just float up sideways. Sometimes they'll recover, sometimes they won't. But it's like maybe a big change in their life. I don't know what it is, but something about maybe being in the dark and then the light and agitation of stress of shipping. They don't always ship the best. Same with Sabwa resplendens or the rummy nose orange rummy nose, which are from the same region. But they are really neat fish, and I really enjoy them. Would a 5-gallon be okay for breeding rice fish? Anthony, 150 billion% that would be totally fine. Especially if those 5 gallons are shallow and it's spread out, then yeah, I mean, you could have 50 fish in there. Rice fish. Rice fish are incredible. You know, last February, I put rice fish in I put some of the fry because I thought I couldn't mix them at the time, and I didn't have a tank ready for them that seemed right. So I was like, well, they'll do all right outside. Put them outside and kind of forgot about them, not gonna lie. Like, we just moved the house, and I put them in a potting pot, like or a flower pot that had like a tray on it where the pot goes on top, and it's like the spillover tray. Well, I put them in that, and it was an old one that had like already filled with some dirt and stuff, and it was already waterlogged, and so I was like, oh, that's probably like a dirted little tank for them. I put them in there last February, right when we got the house, and forgot about them. I mean, they were just a few fries, so I figured, whatever, we'll see what happens. And they were there, sure enough, all the way through summer. So they made it to I took them out before 114 degree day, our 114 Fahrenheit day. But I did have them all the way down. It was probably 27 degrees one of the days they were out there, and like maybe 22 at night for the coldest. They were under a layer of ice. So actually, the deeper you have them in that case, the better, because no fish really does well actually suspended in ice. Even like koi or goldfish, things like that, they're better suited for living in that water that's insulated under the ice. The ice actually insulates them from it getting much colder. And because most lakes are actually engines of life, and they're this moving, churning metabolism, they actually have like the peat moss in the bottom and all the mulm and stuff. It actually produces energy to the degree that it warms the bottom of the lake in the dead of winter, well, summer too, but yes, which is kind of cool. Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. You probably hear my water gurgling and dripping here. Yeah, that was something else that I was trying to tune out of the microphone. So if you hear it, I apologize, guys. I could have just added water to the tank, but I do that 1 gallon at a time. And so right now what I'm doing in that tank with the buffalo heads in there is simulating the dry season. And so I was going to dump a bunch of clear water in there soon, but the water's down real low right now. So that's why you hear it so loud. So sorry about that. Baron von Yinzer. Love that. Stories collecting in a war zone, conflict zone would be awesome to hear. You can only imagine how crazy that sort of thing would be. Yeah, it's interesting. I've talked to people, we've got people like Ivan McColgy, as well as, there's folks like Heiko Blair, and I can think of people who've just done it by default, like because they live somewhere and happen to have written me. But as far as like Americans or Europeans going into developing nations or whatnot, where there's an active war going on and just blissfully ignoring it and going to look at fish, like, it's very interesting. And I don't mean that as like blissfully ignoring it. I mean they're well aware of it. But still, they're that dedicated that they're willing to risk everything. Would lamp-eye killies eat shrimp fry? Yes. Lamp-eye killies love them, but they will. That's popcorn shrimp for them. Popcorn chicken, popcorn shrimp. They'll eat them all day. Any fish that can fit them in their mouth, for the most part, will. Panda, well, yeah, I'll say for sure. So autosynclus and the panda loach will not ever. No, the lizard, whiptail lizards, I've never witnessed do it, but I haven't read other reports. But I mean, pretty much every other fish will eat the babies if they're in their way. But honestly, that is any mid-body of water swimming, surviving, happy, thriving fish, tetras and barbs and anything like that will go down. And if they have the opportunity, they'll eat the baby shrimp. It just so happens to be what's for dinner in almost all cases, unless like it's an algae eating fish that's set up specifically for that. DeFreeze aquariums, welcome. Blue ice daisy rice fish do fine on black blasting sand, and the blue pops around their eyes. Oh, right on. Yeah. Blasting sand, people don't realize it, but it's actually just coal tar. Mary brought that up recently, and I thought that was a good point. We talked about it years ago on Father Fish's show, but somebody brought it up the other day. I think they were just kind of like, well, what are our substrates made of? I have X. What does that mean? That kind of thing. But no, it's not harmful. The coal tar or the coal slag dust that's left over from it, as long as it's hardened and whatever, it doesn't, as far as I've seen, it doesn't ever even cause the TDS to go up. All right. ADHD Aquatics. Wow, coming in with the $20 super chat. Question for anyone. Wow, I mean, someone else should be getting this 20 bucks. I have 3 buried up Amano shrimp in a 10-gallon 75 tank. Been a few weeks. Will the Amano not hatch with the eggs until salt water is present? I have the tank 50% full now. Should I drip this salt water in? So there are people that are successfully breeding Amanos and nearite snails and things like that. So I'm glad that you know that you got an issue with the salt water. Now, in the wild, those shrimp will hold and they will release as long as they're within about a 12-hour trip of floating in the current out to water that is salt water. So they'll hang out in the mouth of a creek when they're ready to spawn, or in the marshlands, intertidal areas of rivers. That's kind of like probably their cue, is when they can feel the tide pulling them in and out. That's kind of going to be where they'll lay. But as far as the amounts, I have to admit, I don't know how to control that. But I have seen them lay eggs in very hard water and release the eggs as larval shrimp. But I don't know what will make them viable. Those that didn't live in my case. I would maybe look at, ask around or Google looking for salinity acclimation chart or salinity for breeding. I think Amazonas might have done an article on it too. But I want to say, if I were you, I would take your question and convert it into Deutschland, into German, and see if you get any hits on that question entered that way into Google, with quotes around it. So it's a specific, ask. And then they have been far ahead of America in the way that they do things. So let's see here. Oh, somebody says their panda loaches go after shrimps. I've never seen that. Are you sure not panda gars? You're talking about panda loaches, the little itty bitty teeny black and white guys. I've never seen that. Mine have always been so peaceful. They're such hippies. They'll eat baby planaria though. That's what mine will eat. Nano aquarium guy, new member. Slow golf clap. And an approving head nod. Thank you so much for joining in on the fun. So did everybody get what they wanted for Christmas, by the way? Backroom Aquarist, how are my chocolate gouramis doing? Well, they're not the chocolate ones, they're the Valenti ones. Oh, and you know what? I might have to switch cameras for this, guys. In fact, I think I do. Yeah, I do. It's that important. My my Enigmatochromis leucanzii are spawning. Like as we speak, I can see. Oh, they just moved out of the way. But we're gonna go up there and we're gonna try to see them because they're too pretty colored up right now, not to go be voyeuristic and bug them. And the gouramis happen to be in that tank too. So let's do that. We're gonna do that real quick. Son of Quack says, got my favorite gift of all, cash. You can literally buy any gift you want with that. That's right. The only thing better than that is clout, right? Because you can do whatever you want with that as well. Also, somebody, I missed it. Where was it? Merry Christmas by ADHD Aquatics also was said. For the 5-month membership, I want to really thank you for that as well. Thinking of others with your 5-month membership shout out that I don't know why it randomly gives those away at certain intervals to folks, but that you add that to a long list of things that I don't know lately with technology. Let's see here. Do I heat my room or the tanks? A little bit of both, but the room is heated. Yeah. The temperature is supposed to drop down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, or like, what's that? -5 Celsius or something. -7 Celsius. I don't know. It's cold. And I'm hoping our house keeps it warm enough. Honestly, I am a little concerned. It's not that warm in here today. Usually it's like sweltering. Usually it runs like 80 in here. To me, that's like, you know, having heat stroke type weather. But yeah. Let's see here. Ooh, yeah. Azuravian 2, what's going on? By next Xmas, I want a 50-gallon plus. Nice. Very nice. You know, I'm thinking about doing some discus in this coming year. My wife really likes discus fish. And so I do have a 55-gallon outside that we've used for sunfish and stuff. So I've thought about that. Let's see here. Your water is 22. The temp of my water would then be about 24 Celsius, something like that, to 26 Celsius. It kind of depends on how hot the ambient temperature outside is. In a long-term sense, like if it's just a day in the week where the temp spikes high or low, then it doesn't matter as much. But if it's 90 degrees, you know, all week, thanks to honestly Alexander Engelhardt's support and help of the channel, that's the only reason I have AC to now hopefully save the fish. Forget about me, but save the fish on those really hot days that apparently Seattle has now, which was growing up here 35 years, and that's not a thing until the last 5 years. Let me get this camera up, though, because I want to show you guys the Enigmatochromis leucanzii. They're a really pretty little cichlid that looks like a crib. So we're going to go explorating. Let me pull this up here so we can do this. Yeah, 22 Celsius is 71.6 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's like the coldest this room ever gets, is about 22. And then it gets as hot as maybe 82, something like that, Fahrenheit. Let's see. But then in some tanks, like if I have rams or if I had discus or something like that, I'll put in, or like Nigerian cribs or certain pencil fish, certain gouramis. I'll sometimes keep them at 82. Or if somebody has ick, or it's kind of a quarantine tank, new fish to the fish room, a lot of times I'll kind of cycle them through a tank that's one of the hotter tanks. Andre Scott says, I'm looking for some blue ram, some blue epistogramma, and some blue, looking for some blue ram and some blue epistogramma, one blue ram and an epistogramma. How much do you sell them for, like, to get one of each? I don't sell my rams haven't been spawning right now. I have 2 balloon rams anyways at the moment, and I sold my rams. I was just saying, for instance, like I would keep rams at a hotter temperature, but I'm not going to, if they have babies, I will probably allow other fish to come in and eat the eggs, honestly, because the balloon rams, I don't want breeding. They have too many health problems. I just rescued them from PetSmart. That's the reason I have them. But they should run anywhere between $5 and $15 for a normal blue ram, depending if it's domestic bred or if it's imported and its size. And then after that, you can factor in if it's purple or black or Dark Knight or Batman, or all the different variations of different styles. And I've seen them go up to $60-ish a piece, depending on if it's a really good quality dark one. But usually those lines aren't super true, at least the ones I've seen. Fanatical says 6-month membership, the only membership worth having. I'll second that. That's I agree. Only one. There's no other fish tuber channels worthy. We're not worthy. No, but I do really appreciate it, and I commit to always having the $2 or whatever the cheapest YouTube level is, level being where you guys still get access to the information. As far as scientific stuff, there may be higher levels where I ask questions like, what should we do with the channel? And they may hear more of that. Or if they want to name a fish on the channel, for instance, they can hit me up and do that. But technically, anything that's educational, the highest barrier I would put in place is $1.99. And even that feels wrong. And so I actually share with the group pretty frequently in the community tab anyways. I don't like gatekeeping information. And what I've been trying to do to remedy that is say the information source in the video, but not like having a hyperlinked something in it. That if you want that, you'll get the membership, perks of membership. Jess, what's going on? Good to see you. Maine's Tails, Fur, and Fans, Aquatic Morning Show hostess with the mostest. Dragon Lair, Anthony Alex answered your question a ways back. Thanks, Dragon Lair. Fish Tropic. Oh, right. I already got your question. Yes. Thank you, Mary. I always appreciate it. The other thing about helping out is you can do it on Patreon if you want to help keep the education and the gatekeeping of information at a low barrier. You can help me keep doing it by tossing in a couple bucks. It's an annual pledge drive type spiel. But the point being is, if you do want to help, love super chats. I do super chats. I'm not saying don't do them, But if you use my either PayPal or Venmo, I get to keep 40% more of it. Still, I'm going to pay the taxes of 27% or so in our state. But the 40% that YouTube takes off the top of Super Chats, that doesn't happen. So your money will go 40% farther towards whatever I do with it on the channel. Just saying. All right, let's see here. You were asking, what tanks do I have heated and why? Oh, okay, sorry. So yeah, some tanks, like I said, the Ram tanks, the discus tanks, if I had discus, which I don't right now, those tanks could be warmer. Certain catfish, driftwood cats, certain cichlids, and sometimes it's to treat ick at 86.4 degrees. It's really like 84.6 is the point at which all ick die that we know of, other than a few weird mutant strains. But you know, I'll turn it up to 86. I'll turn it to 11. It goes to 11, man. In order to kill off parasites, and in general, just the metabolism of fish goes quicker. But sometimes I will mimic a dry season or the hot muggy season, as some places like you know, if it's right on the equator, if it's within 5 degrees plus or minus longitude of the equator, I'll mimic that and use that to try to help the fish think that it's the end of the dry season. Then we'll do a big cold water change and put it in. So those tanks need heaters because the ambient temperature of the room needs to go up into like 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. What would that be? 26 to 28 Celsius or something? 29 Celsius. But yeah, also, you know, my jewel cichlids are shining off right now too, so we'll switch cameras up like I said I was going to do 15 minutes ago. Chris Robertson, Alex, if you could only keep one rainbow fish, what would it be? A local fish store has some Celebes rainbow fish that are beautiful, but I was thinking about threadfins. Go with the threadfins. The Celebes, they've got a bigger body, and so I don't know how much space you're working with, but you can do more with the threadfins. They're a lot more graceful. Now the Celebes, they're very cool. They hang out right up top. The threadfins will dive down a little bit more, as they basically are pseudomagills, you know, the way they behave. And they'll go to the mid-water or the top water. I've actually got some that I'll show you guys in a minute that are living right now sub duckweed layer, because they are well, because of the duckweed, they can't hang out at the top, so they've decided to hang out much lower. The gilbert eye and the threadfins, the species of the Aru, what are they, Aru 4s or Aru 2s? In any case, I've got a few different selections of the smaller quote-unquote rainbow fish group or killifish group, Pacific blue eye group, whatever you'd like to call them. But I think the threadfins are nice because, yeah, they have a small mouth, which is also nice. And they're easy to breed. Not that Celebes aren't, but they're not territorial to the degree that they can do any damage. They're very chill fish. They spar a bit amongst themselves, but when they do it, it looks awesome. You know, they put up this crazy display of fins. So it's actually fun when they are angry. All right, let's see here. Oh, Backroom Aquarius, you're headed out already, buddy. Have a good one. 5 gallon. Yeah. Featherfin is the peacock of fish. Yeah, they kind of are the way they do that. All the pseudomagills have that ability, whether it's the Furcata, the Luminatus, the Gilbert Eye, the Ivanstoffs, the Werner Eyes or the Featherfins. They're a different group technically. In fact, you know what? All right, I'm switching this camera on because they are doing the thing. They're doing the thing. Now I'm in a bathrobe, so I should probably not strut too crazy in front of this. But let's switch up cameras. Let me sign on this camera, and hopefully we don't get any sort of crazy Inception, covert CIA brainwashing, drilling into your brain feedback. Let's see here. And by the way, I still would love to know why I can't see my stream before I hit go live on my mobile device. It only shows up on my computer, or if I'm not logged in as me. So I have to completely log out of everything on Google, I think. Because that was the problem I was having tonight. So if anybody knows if there's a switch or a button to press, I would love to know what it is. All right, let's see here. Fire up. I'm the file starter. Twisted file starter. Boy, that song, I was going to start singing it, but there's nothing I can say on a stream. It would just all be bad as far as bad no words. Okay, let's see how this goes. We're going to mute me here, so I'm going to be talking, and all of a sudden you're going to not hear me, so hold on one sec, guys. Do. All right. Hopefully this will work. Yeah. All right. Let me know if it doesn't. Ugh. All right, guys. So, can you see this? Is everybody seeing this? Are you seeing the catfish tank and my mouth brooding blue lips? So that's not the one with the babies, but that is one of them. And then we've got the Gilbert eye over here. And we've got some Epistos chilling and some Petricolas. And then we've also got a bunch of bettas. But check out this village. Oh, she went into her hut. I knew she would do that. So she went into her hut right here. But there's also a male in one of the huts too. I don't know which one is which. They have a coconut hut village. But those fanatic out. Every penny counts, and I appreciate it greatly. And just because Stephen drops those incredible super chats, nobody should ever feel bad about what they're dropping, obviously. So you can see there's some little teeny young ones still here, but there's the nose of the adult. And look at the Petricola catfish are just hanging out. And I think they want the mouth to open and the babies to come out. But what's happened is this whole area has been, you can see, it's been excavated. So here's like a young one that's just discolored. But this is a young buffalo-headed cichlid, blue lip. They don't have the big nupal hump like the other varieties seem to, or at least it doesn't get as prominent. Then we've got the Panduro Epistos in here with them. And then we've got all the little pseudomagills. And we still have all the half beaks, which you can really see up top better. And then we also have a host of, well, I don't know where they are right now. Let's see if we can find out. And I need to start clearing this duckweed out. And then now that she's already got her, oh, there we are. So there's also a bunch of betta juveniles in here, hanging out underneath the lily pads and stuff. So these are the hybrid of Rose and a blue betta. And Rose is the one who's in with Jackson Pollock, if you remember. Here you can see a stressed Turkana jewel cichlid with the two dominant Turkana jewel cichlids. There's a female. The male's back up in here. And the only way to stop them from fighting, 4 adults that are all different, that don't have a big, like, 40-gallon breeder, is in this 20, I've just filled it with so much guppy grass that their line of sight is about 6 inches, and the other ones can get out of the line of sight. Like this one, that is not a good position. That's a stressed position. The one that was here just darted straight into the corner. But the two that are happy and out in the open, they very well may, they've been clearing a little area here, spawn in that corner. So up here, we'll try not to scare them. In this tank, which we're also mimicking the dry season on, check out all the Stiphodons here. The females are showing off for the males. They're all fat and sassy, and the males are pogo sticking around. It's mostly the cobalt blue and the neon gold and neon blue males. Danny, welcome. Gotta drop Charchodon lateralis. Any tips? Silawasi red half-beaks. Just acclimate them carefully. They're a little fragile the first few days, but then they'll ease in. So then we have the beautiful female Lucanzi. Look at that color. I wish I could zoom in better, but I can't on StreamYard. That's another thing I need to get, even though I'm paying for the StreamYard Pro version now. And then the male here got this beautiful peach yellow and red. Oh, there we go. There comes some. She's got this cool blue color. So they're from Guinea, in Africa, and they are. See, she's got some purple to her side, some pink, and then they've got this iridescent fin that is just metallic and unlike anything you'll see in the crib family. But their bodies are shaped like cribs, and they're only maybe 2 inches full grown. So they're a really cool riverine cichlid that hangs out at an acidic pH and a very low TDS, because it's living with all these cherry shrimp and all these faux rainbow fish, the pseudomagills, and then the tin winnie danios or They were first classified as rasboras and then danios. They are danios, by the way, but they're also in this tank showing off really good color. The danios are showing off. These are the gold ring danios. They're showing off their the males have a purple hue to them that you don't see very often. Try to get some photos of that if I can't get a video of it later. And then the females have a beautiful copper or bronze kind of metallic shimmer to them, and then their bellies are bigger. They've even got the males, some of the males even have yellow on the bottom of their fins. So this is a strain that I've never seen, this yellow thing going on. I really want to breed them out. But see, these guys were just courting, and they were under here when I was sitting down and I said, hey guys, I'm going to have to show you what's going on. Right now you can see she's sifting sand. See if she kicks any more out. But it looks as though they've finally peer bonded, which is really good because they were hanging out in the tank together, but they weren't nuzzling, they weren't copying each other, they weren't lip locking or even like faux violence mimicking one another. And that's some of the signs you look for. But yeah, this is not related to the crebensis directly. This is its genus. It's completely alone in its genus. This is the Enigmatochromius lucanzi from the Photo River. And that's in Guinea near the city or near the town of Freya. And yeah, I'm surprised they've let us film. But yet again, with cichlids, I think algae, I let the algae build up in here for the all the little stiphodons and for the spotted Borneo loach, hillstream loach, and the baby bristlenose that I toss in here. But honestly, the cichlids, just like the Turkana jewel cichlids babies, which let's turn their light on and we'll take a look at them too while we're up and about. I didn't clean the tanks because I wasn't thinking about streaming the tanks tonight, to be frank. But we're gonna stream. We're gonna stream some just to show what's new. But these little babies, let's see, can we get the babies to get closer? There's one down here. The babies are at the age now where they're kind of off on their own, exploring. They're not in a tight bait ball just with their mom or dad. And their mom and dad are just chilling right here on the other side of the glass. But yeah, you can't really see much of them. They just look like little guppy fry or any other fry at this point. I mean, you can tell they're cichlid fry if you know what you're looking for, but other than that, you can't tell too much. And in here, though, this tank, if you saw it when I did the species spotlight like a month ago when they were born, it was covered in algae and mold, and they've taken away almost all of it to the point where now they've cleaned the glass completely. So I think, especially with these cichlids that are vegetarian or at least omnivores when they're young, they really thrive from a thick coating of algae that just coats everything. And honestly, with my apistos, these guys, the trifasciata that are very spooked easily, and these are wild caught ones, they never spawn for me, or they haven't so far in what, 4 months now, 5 months. So, you know, I'm thinking I might crank up the light a bit, or even just let the nitrates get to like 10 parts per million or something, and see if we can get some algal growth. I mean, we've got an actual planted 3.0 on here blasting light, but all the plants are very low tech, so you'd think it would, any nitrates in here would be turning into algae, but it hasn't so far. All right, Thomas, have a great night and a Merry Christmas. Now, also, let's show off how the Blackwater tank is doing. It's doing really well. If you recall, I tossed in the baby lemon plecos. Some of them are in here. There's a bunch on different surfaces eating. Of course, nobody's eating. Well, there's one or two, I guess. Two eat. No, I lied. 3. I'm just going to keep counting. The front glass. Check out how the duckweed has gathered here, though. Really weird. I don't know. The flow is just a sponge filter in this tank. It's all even, and then boom. So the flow, definitely, I'm tempted to put a time lapse on it and see if it's all just pulling to that side. But the ember tetras are doing good. They could be brighter if we fed them. They might brighten up. The algae from the Marimo mossballs has spread all over in here, which I think is interesting because we made it acidic, and I thought that would kill it, if anything, but it's doing better. Alex, if money was no object, would you have your own store, or what would be my dream path? Well, my dream path, I think that's a great question, but my dream path would be to set up a nonprofit, which I mean, I have now with Ivan and his sister. Boy, look at the color on her right now. They are gonna spawn tonight, I think. Sorry, guys, I'm such a fish nerd. She is bright purple and blue. And you know the weird part? I turned their filter off before the stream, thinking that one was just too noisy. But look at this. She's not really fat though, like you would expect to see their big swollen belly. She's got a little belly, but not like you'd expect to see. And then the male, he also needs fat reserves because with this cichlid, the male will guard the eggs for probably 5 days, and then he'll guard the babies. But he'll guard them at the cost of a meal. Like he will not get a meal for a long while usually. So they both need to have reserves of protein in that case. But yeah, you can see that in the light, the stiphodons in this tank are, you can actually see the eggs. But yet again, I don't know the answer for how quickly to turn it saline in the water. I think honestly, the answer would be you'd want to set it up so that your outflow, if you really wanted a good chance, I don't know if you guys can pick up the purple on some of these Danios. These are Tin Winnie Danios, named after the exporter in Thailand, Tin Win. And man, they're beautiful. I hadn't seen them for 2 years, and they just started showing up again. And so we're going to be spawning these next. We just did a round of CPDs, which we'll go look at in a sec. But they're just incredible. These ones have yellow fins, the males, on their anal fin and on their pectoral fins, and sometimes even on their dorsal and caudal fins. They've got little yellow. We'll have to get a picture of that because I've never seen that happen on any of the types. Also, because I saw color guppies in here, I saw Venet in here. The sulpharis are also in here. The Jinga or Jinja sulpharis are still in here. They're doing well. They're hiding back over there, but they're in a big old guppy grass wonderland. And we went from just a few to now we've got some adults. We got some little least killifish also hanging out in here. But we have a couple adult males now, and they're all looking really beautiful too. We've got a lot of snails in here, which is weird because I haven't been overfeeding. But the sunlight being right here, the natural sunlight, I think that it doesn't even matter that I'm not overfeeding. I think there's enough algae and biofilm growing that's what they're eating. Gart, hello. Here, Fishy, what's going on too? Merry Fishmas, Santa brought us, oh no, you guys got the virus? Sorry to hear that. You know, we had the craziest thing happen, and I'm curious if anybody else has had this happen, but my wife she got some of those take-home rapid tests, and she took one, and it said negative, and we were like, oh, phew, good, and we'll go to my parents' place. And then like 2 hours later, which it says do not read 2 hours later whatsoever, the tests had the faintest line saying positive. And I was like, I think it's just wet or whatever. So then I did one, and mine didn't do that. So then we tested her again, and hers had a slight nothing. It was blue. It was blue, like there was one blue line saying that the control was working and that she didn't have it. And then we left them all, and an hour later, both of her tests have changed again, just the subtlest amount. And these are supposed to be ready in 5 to 10 minutes. No more, it says, or it's invalid. But neither one of us were feeling sick. But I was just curious if anybody else has noticed that with those tests, with any of the quick tests. So hopefully that doesn't mean anything like ominous, but I don't think it does. If you read the instructions, it says read it in that 5-minute window. So I was going to try to show you guys the wild bettas again. Oh, there's one. Hey, buddy. Oh, they're coming out. Now they see me. They've got turquoise eyes, which is kind of cool. The Imbolus and the Rubras are the two wild ones we have. And then look at this. So if you're ever curious what a tumor looks like on a fish, let's see if we can get her to come towards the glass. Also, there's more bettas up in here, and they're going to go down into that bottom tank soon because they're getting to the age where they're a little snippy. These guys are half Rubra, half domestic, and some of them look pretty wild. They've still got the lines on them. But I was trying to show you guys the fish that's had this big cancerous growth on her for probably 6 months. She's still chugging along and doing fine, but I figured other people should see it. Let's see here. And then also in here we have CPDs, we have the big gouramis, or the albino gouramis. We have the orange Riley from Aquatic Arts, or really line, and then we have some baby cherry Rillies, painted fire, that I just put one pregnant mother in here and then I moved her. And in here with these wild bettas, for some reason the jade green shrimp have survived just fine. It's like they can't see the jade green, which is interesting. And here you can see the different sizes. And you've got this cello, and then we've got the blue, and then we've got the wild, like rubra looking coloration on this one. But I was hoping to get you guys a shot of the one with the tumor. It's the least killifish. And let's see where she is. Here she is. She's very easily scared. But if you could see her, I don't know if you guys made her out. And then there's white clouds and gold carrot, or 24 karat white clouds up in there with them. But yeah, she's got a big hump on them. I have fed them recently. That's why all the snails are out. Plus, yeah, this is my albino, both bronze and totally albino on pink ram's horn. These are the copper ram's horn, pink albino snail with the shell being bronze or copper. But those least killifish are just like guppies. And I haven't read any literature saying that, but there's been one female in here. She's right back here with the stripe down her side. And she has had all the babies that are in here. Now, she's the one with the tumor. Can you guys make out that tumor on her at all? So, yeah, it's not impeding anything right now. So I just haven't cut it or anything. Also to show you where I have a dozen Madaka rice fish. This is a 10-gallon, and they're in maybe 3 or 4 gallons of water. I mean, the perspective looks weird because we got fisheye lens and we're looking up, but it's not much water. It's maybe a third of the tank, so 3.5 gallons probably. And they do great with the shallower water. They spawn more in my. Like, they don't care about the clean water, that species. And then also, I'm growing it just to see how crazy we can get it. But check this out. Isn't this beautiful? Watch me drop my phone. K-Day 1228. Welcome and Merry Christmas. Look at all those little flowers on the beautiful red root floaters. They're all flowering right now. And it just looks really magical. This whole like tank is just lifted up. It's so thick with them. Now, we don't have anything rolling but a small air stone. And in here, you can see we've got the Honduran red point cichlids. We've got some other stuff too, but it's all so dark underneath the red root floaters. They make it really dark in here. So I am kind of, at first, you know, you can see the color is blood red here. It's purple and blood red, and then back there it's green. But I'm tempted to clear out a spot. This guy is the one that I can never catch, the African barb, fire barb. But yeah, you can see how thick this is getting. So we'll need to worry about the oxygen exchange at this point. But here is the Honduran red point mixed with the parrot. So it's the Arctic blue cichlid, Arctic blue convict, or Arctic blue parrot, whatever you want to call it. The freak. We'll do an episode on hybrid cichlids at some point. I got these in Portland when I went down to speak, and they were just so cute, little munchkins. Also, this bucket is full to the point where it's like percolating, which smells terrible. It's been in here 3 days, but that is paramecium. I can literally pipette off of this bucket. I looked under the microscope, and I inoculated that bucket with paramecium from the jar I got from Portland when I was down there from Roland. And yeah, it just took off. The other jars I've re-inoculated, but they've got some sort of fungal thing. So we're going to check under the microscope soon, but there is a fungus growing on them, or mold. Now in here, we've got all the little baby CPDs, and we've got a bunch of the, boy, there's a lot of CPDs in here. Let's see, how cold is this tank? Oh, it's warm. Okay. This is the unheated. There's no filter running. There is a filter sponge in here. And the light is on quite a bit because it keeps the engine of these plants growing. I haven't cut any of the plants yet. I should, but check this out. I mean, they are tall. They're very tall. But cutting them will just take the nitrites out of there, and then the needles won't ever fall off, and add ammonia nitrates and nitrites back in. Now we also have all these little Corydora that are hanging out. If you can make them out, they're hanging out on the leaves and stuff, and down in the gravel. And they're the orange and blue ones. Meep, meep. And then, yeah, we got the CPDs hanging out. We have some of the, now this is common. I just want people to know, if you're raising plecos or ancestris, specifically bristlenose, sometimes you get some that have what we call failure to thrive. And it's just, they don't ever put on weight. It's not that they necessarily have a parasite or anything, because these guys have all been cleaned to parasites a few different times. But they just don't put on weight, and sometimes some grow at different speeds. Sometimes they're just metabolically not supposed to exist in the wild. They would have gotten picked off long ago, but here they're 2 months old now, and so because I provide such a cushy living for them, they're still hanging around. And because of that, we do keep some pretty questionable genetics at times in fish lines, and I understand. I mean, I totally feel for them, and you know, it's borderline. You don't want to be creepy about it and be like all eugenicists about it, but you do need to keep your lines clean, or not too inbred at some point with most species. Now, guppies and things we've found have mechanisms in their DNA so they can hang and not cause too many problems for like 5 or 6 generations, which is pretty dang good. Oh, nice, Paul. You got a chess set? Very cool. So yeah, see, these guys are kind of coming out of the woodwork. It's hard to get the camera to focus on any one particular one, but all the little CPDs are coming out now. eating this. They're eating Fluval bug bites, the color enhancing one, which really just has extra omega-3s and omega-6s, which I think they get from salmon guts, like salmon that's getting processed for human consumption. And meep meep. No, I don't ever really do water changes in a lot of these tanks. By water changes, I'll do maybe 5% or like whatever comes off the top. I'm lucky though, because if you have RO level water, essentially, my TDS only goes up. And oh, by the way, I just put this heater in here tonight because of how cold it's going to get. So that would be another occasion where this tank wasn't heated or being run. You see, there's no air running to the filter here or anything. It does have filter media in case I do need to run it real quick. So I could spin it up, and by oxygenating that filter media, the bacteria colonies would all of a sudden fire up at a much greater rate. That they would grow in density and take over where the algae's grown, and they would start processing the nitrites, then nitrates, and converting. The two different species are already in there. But yeah, this tank here only gets water top-offs. Now, if you don't have it, let me put it this way, and then we need to set this tank up soon too, which is coming. But if you have a tank that you want to have like this, one, you've got to have it very balanced and not blooming in algae and doing things like overboard. You can have algae. You just don't want it covered in like filamentous or blackbeard algae, like uncontrollable algae type situations. But my water has a TDS of less than 20 usually, which means I can add it just like you would RO water, and it's not going to keep skyrocketing the TDS. Now, hey, Jamie Lee, welcome. If I did have water that even had 50 parts per million, I wouldn't want to keep adding water to top-offs, because slowly you're just going to raise your TDS and you're going to have a higher and higher dissolved solid amount in your tanks, which for a lot of tropical fish is not great. You want a little bit so that it buffers things. And with me, it's like perfect where I live to just add enough that I'm topping things off. This tank is an exception. This tank probably gets 100% water change a week. And I go in with, this tank is very babied because of all the species living in this 20 long. I mean, we've got, and then we collect eggs from this downspout or outspout with all this moss on it. Right here is where the eggs, where they like to lay their eggs. All the little rainbow fish and Pseudomygil luminatus and the thread fins. And then we've got the cichlids in here now too, who are kind of the main focus of spawning. So that's the deal in here. But I just had to show you early the Lucan size were all beautifully colored. I'll have to get pictures of them tonight. But what I do in this tank every single day that I can is I'll go in and I'll suck up any old food, any mulm, because this is not a deep substrate tank. I didn't set this one up as a deep substrate. It's just sand. So it's just not doing anything other than building a layer of not so good stuff in my tank. And that's really all it's doing. Now you can see the plants naturally cause all this stuff to build up right near them. Well, that's actually pretty good because their roots are going to utilize it. And it's just so happens that the topography of the sand, that it divots down because of the plant being there. So it's just one of those happy quirks of nature that, it goes towards the roots. If you have liquid rock, like some people, like DeFries is saying, then you can't just top off your tanks. You have to use RO water or something. This is another tank. Now, this one actually has 300 TDS with my gouramis in it, paradise fish. And it's got rosy barbs and hornwort. And the hornwort is it. There's no substrate, and I've been experimenting with how to have filterless, non-substrated tanks. but I haven't gotten it down to the point where I would endorse it for other people or say it's a good idea. I've gotten it balanced in my fish room, but that doesn't mean that it's balanced enough for me to say, hey guys, this is a great idea. Why don't you do it too? And then what's really interesting is I've let this tank algae over really severely. Okay. The nitrates have gone up to 20 parts per million. But these are the ones I got from Lawrence Kent. These are the Hoplochromis or Enigmatochromis hoplochromis. And or Hippochromis, sorry guys, not Hoplo. But check this out. This is not the bottom. This is on top of a rock that's this high. I mean, put my hand here. You can see the size of it, of all this duff. This is just moss and mulm and rocks and dead leaves. The male has been building a ledge. He's been remodeling and making a second floor. And then he's got a nest that he's hiding in back over here. Now, the females are hanging out right here. And then we've got Vanity chilling. But he'll come out, he'll dart out from that hole down there. But he's doing something with all the rocks. And he's killed every plant that was planted other than some of the valve. I still have some valve, like some corkscrew valve. But I don't know what he's up to. But I'm going to follow the lead of the Turkana jewel cichlids and just allow the algae to build up because it's worked so well in that tank now. And then it looks like it's going to work in this tank. So I think they're eating all that microfauna that we're finding in the algae when we were looking under the microscope and stuff. And we'll take a quick peek at the outside aquariums, but my wife's watching a show, so I'm literally just going to show you that they exist and that one of the flowers is doing well. So over here is the Aponogeton. Oh no, I just put my bathrobe in duckweed. My wife just rolled her eyes so hard. But this guy hanging out here, oh man, he's all dirty. Let's clean him off. All right. So this is the Aponogeton. And again, we're starting to see seed pods at the base there. And they'll start forming all the way through the plant. But the plant has snapped up here. And I'm like, no, where it snapped. So I'm trying to keep that submerged and hoping that the flowers above will still turn to seed. But there's so much duckweed. It's in like 2 weeks, you guys have seen how much duckweed. But I literally just put my sleeve into the duckweed. So dry cleaning fun. And then here we have the other fish I was talking about. Here's another one of those polar cichlids, Arctic blue or polar. And then we've got a lovely Jackson Pollock betta, and we've got Rose, and those were her babies mixed with a wild or blue one. Also, the darters are saying hello. This tank though has been having algae problems. The flow's real low on it because of how cold it is lately. I turned the flow down so evaporation would be reduced, since this room we don't heat as hot as the fish room. So these plants though, they're suffering a little bit because I also turned the lights down. So we'll talk about that tank and its upkeep later. It's got a couple issues, but cut me some slack. I'm trying. All right. Well, I'm getting real toasty in here, and I'm going to step outside and we can continue to talk for a moment, but I might lose you. And in case that happens, I want to thank you all for a great little huddle here, a little Christmas gathering. I really appreciate everybody coming by and saying hi. And if you had a question, it's Always interesting to work these out together, to talk with the chat and see what y'all think about the same things. Yeah, Jamie Lee. The duckweed is pretty much ubiquitous at this point. It is on every surface of everything in our lives. It's just how life is now, I guess. Well, again, guys, thank you so much. And to the mods, thank you very much also. Do we have any Christmas emergencies that are taking place that I can help with? Watch how hot I am. Even if I don't talk, I'm steaming. But it's also 28 degrees out, so so yeah, I guess we decided to just do a little run around. Sorry it wasn't a Santa stream. Rico is still visiting in the future, or he will be visiting in the future. He'll be back to the future soon. Any idea why Gulf Coast pygmy sunfish are so hard to find online? It's because they are illegal to collect, and most people don't want to sell them. They're illegal to collect without a native species collection permit, and that's a bummer. Because yeah, they are like weeds in the ditches down there. Now there are a few endangered varieties, like the Alabama subspecies of the Elastomas, Elastoma alabamae, AE. That one only exists in one, maybe two lakes, and flooded marshes around those lakes. And whereas like the Gilbert eye and the Everglade eye, those ones are a lot of Georgia, a lot of Florida, so they're not really in any threat at the moment. But yeah, Steven is not the only streamy. I am now too. In case you missed it, I hope I don't drop when this happens, but I might. So I love you all and Merry Christmas if I do drop. But I wanted to show you something and then see if you'd be interested in it if I copied it blatantly. I actually know the guy who made these, so I don't feel that bad about if we copied it. But I think it would be cool to take a native fish from each state and make them into a sticker in the shape of the state. Oh, great, my truck light's dead. But if you guys can make it out, here's Washington State, and it's got a rainbow trout and then a golden, like, brook trout, or I mean, I guess you could interpret that as a cutthroat or brown trout or whatever you want to call it. It could be the invasive, the limey brown trout, or it could be the majestic brook trout. But I was thinking about, like, you know, doing the texture of a bass for Alabama or something, you know, a smallmouth bass. Let me know what you think. This guy Casey Weldon does them, and he and I both did the set design for Sasquatch Festival. It's like a music festival about 5 years ago. So I know him from that, and we're still friends, and I saw his signature and I could barely make out the name, but I was like, I know that style from somewhere. And he's only done it for this one fly fishing store. And so I'm really curious if he would care if I did it for other states shamelessly. Just a thought. Randy Roman, hello. Yeah, sturgeon for Wisconsin. I mean, I don't know what would be enigmatic of each one. Chevy Fish, how's it going? Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Same to all the lurkers here who didn't want to come out and speak. That's totally fine. I'm just glad that you're hanging out. And I know Rico is still streaming like a demon, and you can check out Rico Stan's shenanigans. Walleye or whitefish maybe for Montana, yeah. Walleye a lot of people would want walleye for their state. But I mean, Idaho even like thinks lake trout should be theirs. The record stood for a while in Priest Lake, Idaho for walleye size, weight wise. But yeah, I don't think that's true anymore. It's like in the 70s. It's framed in this dive bar. It's like Guinness Book of World Book of Records certified back in the day. It's like the only claim to fame in this poor little town called Nordman, where the post office is the everything else, the gas station, the grocery store, one of those towns. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. Red light, Trobot, Chinook. Yeah, that would be a good one for Oregon. I mean, salmon definitely for probably. Well, maybe the desert pupfish for California, just to piss those of the salmon lovers off. The Death Valley one. Pupfish, the Devil's Hole pupfish. Ooh, I should tell you a story one of these nights about the Devil's Hole pupfish. Yeah, gross old catfish in a boot for Texas. No, maybe the Texas fire cichlid, honestly. Paddlefish, yeah, Missouri would probably get paddlefish in my head. I don't know. We'll have it figured out. It'd be a whole long thing and a lot of arguing, but just a thought in my head. But I hope everybody has had a fun little time here. Again, I apologize for my lateness, trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. It was very kind of everybody calling. I was actually probably delayed a good 4 or 5 minutes because so many people called, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that that's awesome that y'all cared. So thanks for checking in on me and make sure I didn't die in the 12 hours I set the stream to when I was supposed to stream. You never know. You never know these days. Hold the ones you love close and hold the ones you hate even closer. I think Jesus said that. Something like that. Actually, get them out of your lives. Stay away from the ones who hate you. Change who you hate. Just don't hate anyone. I hope everybody, though, is having a great night. Whatever they are, having fun alone. You're not alone. You're with us. You're hanging out. And if you're with family, you're not with family. You're alone. You're hanging out alone with us. So either way, have your cake, eat it too, and have a wonderful Merry Christmas. I know a lot of you are not even, it's not even Christmas anymore if you're in those strange foreign lands, probably even in jolly old England by now. So merry old England, jolly old England, merry jolly, get my jollies. In any case, I'm done. And I've talked way too long about being done. So have a wonderful night. Thank you so, so much for all the support throughout the year. I will have a video out shortly, just another normal surprise fishery type doom video. And then on Tuesday, I will be streaming at 4:30 Pacific time, 4:35, honestly. And that's all I got to say. It's supposed to be snowing quite a bit in the next few days here. It was snowing last night. So have yourselves a merry little Fishmas. Let your fins unclamp. Do a water change and be sure not to leave the blue light on. And don't ever skim your pond this Christmas. Well, it's not Christmas Eve. Night. All right, I'm done. All right, I'm getting out of here. Singing's terrible. It's over. Hard to sing without bottom teeth. Do, 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 do. Thanks again, though, guys. Super chatters, mods, Mary, basically Mary. Thank you, Mary. And everyone else who sets me straight when my noggin's gone on a toboggan for a ride. And I will talk to y'all later. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Oh, heaven bloom.